So for this basic lab, we're going to be talking about how to attach some wood with screws. There are going to be some little tips and tricks that will be very helpful for you, keep you from having a lot of frustration and having a good project. So if we want to attach some wood together, what we want to do is use screws. And when you use the screws, what can cause problems sometimes is if you just go to put the screw in from this piece of wood to the other one, sometimes it starts to create a wedge, and that wedge can put a split in the wood, especially if you're close to the edge or to the end. It'll just kind of split it off because it's acting like a wedge when it goes in there. So the next thing that you can do is drill a pilot hole. So we have some drill bits, and we want to get the right drill bit that we need to make this work. So I'm going to hold this up to the light. So if you can see, the drill bit is narrower, the diameter is smaller than the screw itself. So you should be able to see kind of the teeth on both sides of the drill bit. What that's going to do is that's going to allow that screw to not really wedge the wood, but it allows it to go in nicely with the little teeth of the screw, okay? So that's what we would do. We would decide where we wanted this to go, we would mark it, and we would drill that. But let me show you what it would look like if you didn't use the right drill bit. Can you see how that one completely, you can barely see the threads, or you probably can't see them on both sides? So if I drilled that one in here, the screw would go in there, and then you could just almost like pull it right out. These teeth wouldn't be holding anything. So we've got the right one here, and we could we've marked it. Then we want to position it exactly where we want it. Then we can begin to drill, and then after we drilled both pieces of wood, then we could use the right screw. So let's talk about, on this project over here, using the right screw. If we're wanting to attach this piece of wood to this piece of wood, we want to use a screw that when you're finished, it doesn't protrude out, and also one that after you've attached it, that it goes into the wood enough. You know, this is not enough of a bite from one piece of wood to the other. So that would be a problem. We want one that would go at least more than halfway in and not protrude, because that could kind of cause some problems. So on this particular build, I went ahead and set up another kind of problem people run into. So one of the problems they use, or they come into, they use the pilot drill. They drill into this piece of wood, but they don't drill into the other. And I set this up as an example to show you. So if you drill into this piece of wood, the pilot hole, then you put the screw in here. Now it hits the next piece of wood that doesn't have a pilot hole in it. So when you start drilling this one in, it hits resistance here. So it starts moving this piece of wood up. And as it's moving the piece of wood up, it creates a gap in here. So this gap is not good. And you can't just eliminate the gap by using more pressure on the drill bit, because it's still going to keep the gap. So what you have to do, and if you keep putting pressure on it, it's eventually going to strip those threads out, and it's going to be useless. So what we're going to do is we're just going to back this one off. So now I've backed it all the way out just into this wood. Now it's already kind of started a little bit of a hole into this piece of wood. So now if it's all nice and flush on both sides here, now I can just go back into it. And now you'll notice that gap is not there. But if I was just to have tried to push it on through, it would just strip the wood, and then I would have something that wouldn't be secure. So once you get finished with this lab, you'll put the things back where you found them, and you'll get a check to see if you have completed the task at this lab as needed. If you still have some more time, you're going to go back to your safety items to look over for your safety test.